How's your mom doing?
She's good. I feel like this is gonna be so much in one because I feel like you know me more than I know you. And so I'm gonna be learning more about you because you
Amber,
have this background knowledge. So like it's kind of
I've known you
weird.
since I've used to be around you a lot when you was more of a baby. You was probably like more like 2 years old.
Yeah. George
Yeah.
Street or just around Clifton?
On because I used to go to your mom's house a lot.
Really?
Yo,
Did you have hair? Did you get your hair braided or no?
nah, yeah,
Yeah.
all of it. Yo, how long before you get on? Yeah, but we're on right now though. All right, bye.
Yeah, I'm not in a rush
Yeah.
either if you
No,
need.
y'all lived on your mom's is living in this house off of George Street in the back in the alley. So me and
Mm-hmm.
her,
Oh,
um, your aunt, Frank, we used to be in there all the time.
yep. I vaguely remember those days.
Yeah.
But so do you still live in the area or where do you live?
No, I had to I had to leave Boston for one
Mm-hmm.
because I was just getting into too much trouble. So I had to leave. So the last time I was arrested, my wife was like, she was my girlfriend at the time. She was like, either we had to leave or she had to bounce.
Ooh.
So I was like, if I beat this case and I get out of here, we'll move away. So
Mm-hmm.
I bounced, but when we was buying a house, wanted to buy in Boston, but we was financially tapped out of it.
Mm. So Brockton's more affordable.
Yeah, it's more affordable.
Let me pull up y'all's website too.
Well, you made
How y'all
it.
doing?
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm good.
Y'all in Brockton now, or
Huh?
y'all still in the beam?
We're still here. We're still loading tires right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This can be as quick as you need it to be. If you need to leave at any point, feel free. It could be real casual. I'm just glad that you
Nah,
guys can make it.
nah, we good.
Yeah, Johnny will be all right. He can wait.
So how
No
many of
problem.
there are you guys again? Like in the group?
There's it's six of us total.
Oh, hey, is the sun still out? Sheesh.
What is that, Johnny?
Nah, that's fair. One of the kids. He wanted to come for a ride. He was
Oh,
bored.
Oh, that's nice. Damn, you guys are real like family, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, we are. I
I'm
mean, we're
cool.
first. We're
We'll
we're
help Johnny.
first cousins.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
like
we're first
literally
cousins.
family. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
So are we cousins too? Like, what is that? Are we just like cousins?
No, no,
I,
we're related. Related.
Okay.
Um,
You
my
told me
father.
before. You told me before, but tell me again.
Yeah, it's my father and your mother. First cousins or second cousins.
Mm.
Um, your grandfather, Nukula, you know Nukula?
Yeah, I
He
remember
passed
him.
away. So Nukula is my uncle, my first uncle. He's my uncle.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we used to call him Moscou Chapel because he used to always have this cool hat.
Yeah. Now he's the one who brought me to the US.
Really?
Yeah. He's the one who brought me here. He brought me like literally on the plane because I needed someone to bring me. But he's legit like my um first uncle. Him and my aunts are brothers and sisters.
That is amazing. So are we cousins with Tony?
Nah,
All right. Sorry,
he
Tony. You're not my
he's
affiliation.
related. He's related to me on my mom's side.
Oh, okay, so
the
he's
good.
your cousin, I'm your cousin, but we okay, cool. But that's
Yeah,
like super Cape Verdean, and that's just so
yeah.
Boston.
I'm
So
from the good side.
yeah,
What's the
so
good
We're
side?
like
from the
Oh, the
good
good
side.
side of his family, or
Yeah.
so
okay.
like one of the things with us, right?
Mm.
So Amber, on our side of the family, most of our cousins are from CVO and from Norton Street.
Mhm.
That's our family from that side, right?
Mhm.
And then on my mother's side, it's mostly from Cameron and Windover side.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So I was always in the wedge of everything, but it was like I can't take sides because it's like it was just too close.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
too
That's
close.
deep. Let's get back to that. Let's take a step back though. I think I'm going to start the interview now.
Is it all right? Yeah. We
Yeah. Do you
wasn't
have
getting
any?
recorded, right? We wasn't
Yeah,
recorded.
it's been recording, so I think I'm going to
Okay,
use some
all
of
right.
that. That was great, but I want to go back and just give a little bit of an introduction to what you guys are and what My Brother's Keeper 617 does. You guys go by MBK 617 for sure on the internet, social media, and all of that. But you guys are a nonprofit based out of Dorchester, created to provide mentoring to young men and boys in the Boston community aged 8 and up. I didn't even know you guys worked that young. But you guys work to show the youth that they can make choices that will increase academic growth and professional opportunities. By pursuing these opportunities, they will grow to become an asset to the community and leaders of the next generation. And then your bio goes into you guys' story. So you said there were about 6 of you guys that started the organization. And I guess tell me a little bit more about how you guys came to be. Whoever wants to start first.
So the our friend that's in CV right now, his name is Z. So Z got deported, but when he was here, we had this trying to find right words, right? We had this dialogue with all the Cape Verdean gang members. So we went to every neighborhood and we legit was trying to tell them like we needed to form some type of like communication to stop the killings. Like before it became violent, that maybe we can broker something at the table, right? So we did that and it lasted for a summer, but we didn't know how long it was gonna last. So during the middle of that truce, we Z said we should do something to start tackling the kids and basically get the kids before they can get recruited into the gangs. And I was like, well, I don't know anything about dealing with kids because I've only been dealing with gang members all my life. So like I don't know nothing about kids. But if this is something that you want to do, then I'm gonna ride with you. And then he went and he got Tony, he got Satiro, he got Peter, and he brought Johnny. And then he basically had that idea and he put all of us together.
Wow. And Tony, do you remember how you got joined like differently, or you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, like me and Z, we grew up like in the same neighborhoods. So Z came up to me with the idea, and then when he told me Mario was in it, you know, that's blood, so I already knew it was going to be official. And one thing about the way that Z did it, he put a lot of people together. I feel like if we was all close friends when we first started, it might not have been that successful. The fact that he actually put people together like from different neighborhoods, different backgrounds, and we all brought something to the table. Like it was like just like the Avengers, you know. Z was like Nick Fury, his name. He put all of us together, and that from then on, and we all work. We actually work pretty well together. I think that's how it works.
Yeah. And before I started the intro, we started getting deep into our connections. Obviously, Mario and I are cousins, and you and Mario are cousins. And this is just the Cape Verdean experience almost in Boston, that we're all related by a degree or two. But I remember growing up, I have an uncle that was deported as well. And when I hear legacy or hear his legacy or hear stories about him, it was tied to this gang culture, but I never heard of it in this dangerous way or violent way. It was always celebratory. It was always this unity between Cape Verdeans that was happening. But there is this very grim reality that I never got to really see or I hear about from a distance growing up in Roxbury, of the gang violence, hearing, gunshots, losing people, or even seeing my uncles or my cousins losing friends because they are in proximity to that lifestyle, whatever that might be. But there is this connection between the immigrant experience, the Cape Verdean experience, and that gang life. How has MBK informed how you viewed your own teenage years or growing up, and even how the community has affected you and how you've grown from that? Yeah.
Tony, you can go first.
Just like you, like I never experienced that whole culture, like probably Mario would speak more on that part of like the Cape Verdean communities being together. I kind of got a little bit glimpse of it because I remember as a child I was able to go from like Roxbury, go to Wendover, then go end up on Cameron Street. Like I was able to do that. There was no situation, there was no problem. Even as far as going up to CVO, you know, like the air in Hamilton, like I feel like I had the access to go all there, but there was always tension. So probably when Mario was younger, he probably experienced like that CV culture. You're talking about like everybody together, 100%. With me though, one thing I wish though, growing up, is I wish I had a program like this. Like I wish I had something like this that could have shown me there's more to life than what I see. Because there's a lot of opportunities out there that was never made available to us, you know, due to lack of information, due to lack of resources. So that's one thing I do with.
Oh,
Yeah. He was spitting.
Wish though when I
yeah.
was growing up, I had like an.
All right.
You cut out for a second, but we got most of the gems, I think. And so Mario,
Yeah, somebody was calling me.
don't wait, got business. But yeah, Mario, what do you remember
Yeah.
then about your experience?
So I think the uncle you're talking about, you had two uncles that got deported.
I have one.
Two.
Yeah.
There's two.
Maybe a cousin, uncle that I might not know, but yeah.
The first one that got deported, I believe is Baltazar.
I don't know this one.
So Baltazar was the first one that got deported. He was the first, like the actual first Cape Verdean to get deported.
Interesting.
And then you're probably talking about Domingo.
No, my uncle's name is Jose. I don't want to put his business. I might bleep it. I'll find a way to bleep it.
All right. So those are the two that I know.
Okay.
And your mom will tell you about them too.
Yeah, she'll tell me about the other ones.
Baltazar was deep in the in the gang culture. He was part of the first Cape Verdean gang that was here in the US was called CVP, and it became a big culture thing. And those are the guys that I was raised under, right? So when I got here, it was right before the crack pandemic happened. So everyone, all the Cape Verdeans was like one big family. There wasn't a lot of us, but it was just one group, and we all went to activities together. Everything was done together. It was all of us. But what our parents didn't see was that while we were going to school and while we was outside, we had to deal with the gang violence because no one knew what we were. And there was still a lot of white people around and there was a lot of racism. So we were getting to altercations with both blacks and whites.
Yeah.
So that's when they got together and was like, look, we have to protect ourselves. And they created CVP, which was like Cape Verdean Posse. That's what it was started. But most of that stuff, it wasn't around gang violence. It was mostly about surviving, making money, and defending our culture and ourselves. So that's the mentality that I grew up under.
But I remember the times that Tony speaks of because that's when I grew up. And I remember having family on the other side and shopping on the other side, but you can't hang out there, or there were rules, even though your cousins lived on Wendover or in Dorchester. I'm from Roxbury, like I said, that your organization is based out of Dorchester, but I even feel a distance between Cape Verdeans and Dorchester. You know, I don't even go there. I have cousins that hang out there. So what changed then? And we can keep this quick because I think I want to focus on the positive, but what changed?
It was like a slow breakdown. And even I was talking to Z earlier and trying to figure out like, why am I even still around to see this continue to happen over and over, right? But it was a slow breakdown of petty stuff. But the main thing that broke us, the first thing that broke us in half was drugs and guns. That was the first thing that broke us in half.
Yeah.
And it became from one CVP, then it became to two gangs, then it became to three gangs, then it became to four, then it became to five. But the first thing that broke us was the guns. That was the first thing that broke us in half.
Yeah.
And then it just trickled down from there.
And I
And then
think a lot of times we want to take blame. And so I hope that question didn't come off as self-blame, because the system also wasn't great to our people. And so I understand that we had our own challenges as well. We had, when I think about my uncles, my aunts, or anybody that was first generation, maybe you guys also, I mean, you came with my grandfather, that's crazy. There, you had to almost graze yourself. I don't even know how to say it. Your parent didn't speak this language. You were understanding American culture for the first time. There was a lot going on. And like you say, the opportunity is lost. So I yeah, just want to add that. And I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that as well.
no, when when I first stepped off the plane, mind you, I was like 5 years old, and it was snowing. So I had to like adapt to what is this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're from the islands, it's hot. I've never seen snow. So just adapting to that, but then to like settle into a neighborhood um where you don't speak the language. You don't know, I didn't know my mother. Um because she came here first, and I was, like, it was just adapting to a lot. But then when you have to adapt to the violence and and the gangs and the drugs, it's a lot. It's a lot. So when you take a bunch of kids and you put them all in this area, and now you're forcing them to like to survive in this mess, and the parents don't know, because the parents, I go to work, I come home, I feed you, I give you clothes, like that's their world. But for the kids, it was a different world, so it was just, it was very, it was, you had to adapt. We had to adapt, man.
Yeah.
And the system the system kind of helped create our path to where it's at now. um it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Very hard to explain.
And Tony, did you say that you were born here or in CV?
Now I was born in CV. I came when I was 5.
Mm-hmm. And how did you adjust?
Something similar to that, but with me though, when I came though, the like, and the funny thing is, the first street I lived on was Hamilton Street. I done legit lived in every hood that, like every hood. I went from there to Wendover to Humphrey, then back to Belden Street.
But that's how it is though. It's like they're all in
Yeah.
a radius. Like I haven't, I've been on both sides too. Sheesh. Uh-huh.
So for me, yeah. So for me, it's like, I remember like I didn't start making friends till I went to school, like, because it was just your cousins. Like when you come, you hang out with your cousins. But when I started going to school in elementary, like we all was close. Like no matter what hood you were from, we wasn't even thinking about that. We was all close. We all hung out in school. We sat on the same table. Middle school, it's like we split in half, because of going to different schools. And then when you get to high school is when people really start splitting due to like neighborhoods.
Yeah. So I guess we've talked a little bit about why you guys started and talked about you guys' story, but what was the first group of young men that you guys worked with? Was it even a group? And what was that experience like? Because it feels like it's been an organic growth and very natural. So I assume it might have been people in the neighborhood. Tell me about the first people that you guys worked with.
I know. So before MBK, the nonprofit itself was called Pyramid Coalition. That was started 15 years ago, where I started, but I was working with I was working with guys from like throughout Boston. So what the plan was for them is what Tony and the rest of the guys took MBK to. They took it to this level. But from 15 years ago, that was the vision, was basically to be self-sustained and to help the kids not to get into this destructive lifestyle. So when those guys that I was talking to did not grasp it, and then once Z started this, and then everyone else came on board, it was like, well, they just took it and just ran with it. And the kids, the first group of, well, I don't want, like, it's kind of hard because I don't want to say the first group of kids was the kids in our neighborhood, but they're the ones who, when we asked them, what do you want to, what do y'all want to call this program? They came up with the name. And it was right before Obama came up with his.
Oh, I didn't even get to a question about that because I'm sure that's a source of confusion sometimes. But it's a common saying, and it's been a saying.
It's a biblical saying.
Oh, really?
So
Biblical.
the kids said the name, and the first group of kids that we work with are the kids now that we've seen a lot of them pass away. And then since then, what? We're like on our within our community, we're on the third group of age range.
A
But
generation.
yeah,
Right?
generation. But prior to that, there was two more generations before them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a long, like gradual growth.
Right. And do you guys like what kind of, I guess let's talk a little bit about what you guys do. I'll skip around because I do want to know what kind of events and trips do you guys do and what kind of experiences do you try to show these young men? I know there are a range of ages.
Tony, you want to answer that?
Yeah, so like on trips and stuff, usually what we started off is doing it in the summer. So we took them out every Sunday in the summer. We just wanted to get them outside the neighborhood. You know, there's a lot of things going on that's like we just wanted to get them out of a toxic environment, bring them to experience new things. And the way we started, the kids is the one that chose the trips. Let's say we'll put in the group chat, what do y'all want to do this Sunday? They'll say what they want to do, and then we'll take a vote, and then we'll go. Like we'll do what they want to do to make sure that they come, because it's very, the kids are always being told what to do by the teachers, the parents. So we wanted to create an environment where they can kind of have a voice. So that's why we kind of started off letting them choose what trips they want to do. In the beginning, we did more like free trips, like going to the beach, people letting us borrow their dirt bikes, people letting us use certain things, like people coming off, dropping off waters and snacks and stuff. And like, it's crazy just to see how far we came with the help from everybody in the community. Cause like now we actually like going to places, like we're going like Six Flags, we're doing like the big trips, but it all started with the community helping us on the small trips, like going to the beach, somebody dropping off 2 cases of water, somebody dropping off bread, ham and cheese and stuff like that.
And it looks like you guys recently visited Fenway Park. You got an invitation to go there. And I've seen a bunch of other amazing experiences. How was that?
That was fun. And it was crazy because like one of the players came over and was talking to us. And just that alone, just that experience alone, we have this kid Kelvin, which you met early on the video that was waving.
Yeah.
He's the one that went to Fenway, and now he wants to be a baseball player. And he didn't even want to go to the baseball game because he thought baseball was boring. So now he's here pitching. Now he's here. We got him a glove. Like he's just like interested in baseball. Like he stayed texting me the scores of games and like all the Red Sox lost today and things like that. So those are the type of experience we're trying to create for these kids.
Yeah. And I'm someone who benefited and I guess was privileged to experience a couple of summer programs. Maybe a couple that my father scratched up some change to put me in. And so I thank him for that. But some other ones were, fun, like scholarship programs, going on a trip somewhere. And I know that those deeply changed who I was, how I viewed myself, how I viewed the world and my role and my purpose. And they gave me experiences that I did not get. A lot of people in the hood, you would hear this if you see me around. Like people think I'm from New York. They think I'm not even from Boston because every summer I was off that doing something enriching. And I would notice when I came back that people who did not have those experiences did not have the same opportunities as I did professionally, creatively, and so on. And so I'm a big proponent of enriching, activities, trips, and programs that engage the youth. But not only that, giving them a sense of identity. Like you said, you brought him to a baseball game and he was able to imagine himself as a baseball player, perhaps. Exactly. Or even if he doesn't become a baseball player, he could enter the field. He could at least be interested in the sports business. And it just opens up all of the opportunity. And so a lot of that comes down to, one, the resources, being human resources, who is available to give their time to the youth. You guys have made yourselves available, which is amazing. But you've also made this transition from a very grassroots group to a nonprofit. So what has been the biggest benefit of becoming a nonprofit? Yeah. What has changed? What do you have access to now? Or well, how have you seen it benefit your organization?
Tony can answer that.
Yeah, I think it's just like more people are aware, and obviously like the more people that support you, the more resource that you create for these kids. But like I think we're still grassroots because like at the end of the day, I think it's still like the same people that started with us. Those are the people that's still gonna be there for us. Like for example, like our first event we did, our fundraiser was a tea party that was put together by Mario's sister Sandra, Rachel, Stephanie, Maxine, and all of them. It's like people like that that even though I know we're growing and stuff, but those are the people that made it possible. And
Yeah.
like so we're still grassroots because I feel like we're still doing it that way, even though we are exposed to more opportunities now, we still want to do something for the community by the community.
Yeah. And you guys have the support of some amazing local creatives, leaders, activists. I know that Representative Liz Miranda has been a big supporter of you guys. I swear she posts about you guys more than herself because she's such a great supporter. Anytime you guys have an event, how has that relationship been, or what other relationships have you been able to flourish or grow?
She's cool, you know. Go ahead, Mario.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying she's always there when we reach out to her. She's always she provided resources or she hears an opportunity, she reaches out to us. So
Yeah.
we definitely appreciate that. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's all the people from the community that kind of been around and kind of understand the story that Mario's been telling. Those are the people that's really like holding us down.
Yeah, I guess it's easy to go for
No,
like the big names, but it's you guys are
no.
a
I
whole
think
community effort.
the I love Liz. I love what she does for us and how she helps us. But our anchor is the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. That from day one when I first got into this realm was the organization that didn't turn their back on me and didn't turn their back on the idea or the vision. So they've been supporting me since day one, and they continue to support us now.
Yeah.
Um, and they're the ones that I would have to credit for our existence.
Mm.
You know, like if it wasn't for Tina, there's no way in hell that I would be here, and then there's no way in hell that MBK would be here. So
Yeah.
it always goes back to like someone who had someone from the community who started something from pain. You know what I mean? And even like today, I want to send my condolences to Marvin's family because it's heavy in our heart and it's painful to keep losing someone and then to have or to know that their family and friends are suffering and the whole point of us is to break that chain and um it feels very not hurtful, but I can't think of the right word, but it feels sometimes like we're not doing enough. You know what I mean? To break the cycle, but it's like we're doing our best.
Yeah.
We're doing
Hey,
our
I
best.
think there definitely could be more movement, more change. Like we shouldn't be even dealing with the stuff, but I guess, like you said, we're working on it. And I feel like I might have met the director of the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. Is that
I'm sure you have at some point.
at an event? But I am surprised that I don't hear more about it. Because when I heard their mission, I'm like, wow. From what
So
I remember, and I should look it up, but they work with survivors of families of victims that have died by gun violence.
yeah,
And I know that when I got familiar with activism, one of the first activists that I knew was Isaura Mendez.
yeah.
And I
So
don't know if
he's
there's an
out of
affiliation, but I know that she always does a march for peace because she lost her two sons to gun violence
yeah.
as well.
She so Isalda got was helped through the Peace Institute. So that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of us, that's our anchor because
That's wild.
before the Peace Institute, there was really nothing here to help us. Like nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no emotional support. There was no like um, uh, not even political support, but like political guidance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they help so many families start their own, like their own organization, and empower them
Yeah.
to do something. Like you don't have to feel powerless. You know what I mean? They're the anchor. Like no BS. Like the first time I met, not met. The first time I saw Tina, it was when um this baby Malik. I don't know if y'all would know Malik, but he was just I think 2 years old when he got killed on Barry Street. And there's a lady. She's like, I'll never forget it. Is that she's standing on the porch, and the rest of us are all down, on the street, and she's telling us about, you know, she's trying to calm us down, basically. You know what I mean? That was my first um, introduction to her, but it's the first person that was trying to talk common sense to us.
Mm.
You know what I mean? The first person that I know that was trying to help us.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, like I'm older, so I've seen it. Prior to that, there was no help for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
And I know
so
I
like
said, yeah, go ahead, finish your thought.
no, I just feel like she's she's our anchor. Like she's the anchor.
Yeah. I feel like I asked the question in a almost political way, talking about politics and nonprofits and, oh, you work with this politician, and it's easy to, grab for those bigger names, but I didn't expect such a real, raw connection. Like that's beyond political. That's emotional. Um, okay. Yeah. Got 10 minutes left, but we might have to restart. It's okay. Cheap. I gotta pay for the upgrade. But anyway, where was I? So when I hear about your connection to the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, I'm like, wow, that's more than a political connection. That's something that's connected to, it reminds me that you're bigger than my relationship to nonprofits is extremely like budget related, political, like, oh, what niche are we trying to fill? Like, how does this set us apart from other organizations? But your organization is tied to helping people survive, avoid death, deal with grief. That stuff is realer than I can even process right now, but I respect it. And I just want to acknowledge that. Like, so shout out to that organization. Oh, so you work with a group of young men now. How many young men do you work with, and what are their ages? What is the range? Who are they?
Yeah, we work with, I know on the website it says 8 to 16, but we work with all ages. Like, for example, like the core of the program, I'll say we got around like 60 kids right now, ages between like 8 to 18, like the website said. But we do events for the community, like when we did the Easter ride and we did the Christmas ride. We do
All
events for
right.
kids as young as like one, like when we do gifts. So we have those networks because we know eventually one day these kids are going to get older. So we still are building that relationship with the parents and stuff early. Um, we support kids even after they leave the program. Well, actually, they're not a program because I don't even consider it a program. Like it's more like a family. So
Yeah.
even when they leave to go do their own thing, like that's part of being an adult. You grow up, you try things. We still there to support them. 24, 25. So there's no like you got to leave this program at a certain age or you got to leave this program because of this, because of that. Like obviously, like if some kids make decisions where they join gangs and stuff like that, and we're going on the trips, for safety reason, we might not invite everybody to come on certain trips because we got little kids, like if we get opportunities like the Red Sox game or Celtics game, or we might get opportunity that fits kids that's even younger. So it's like we're open to everybody. So our network
Yeah.
is
I gotta expand how I think about you guys. You're like a multi-level,
Yeah.
multi-model, just a whole beast of an organization. So yeah.
So like the first kids that we brought in, right? Those were kids all from the Cape Verdean community. Um, all of them. And then it wasn't just kids. It's like these are kids from our hood. These are the kids that our friends' kids, our families' kids, the kids that's growing up watching us, the kids that we see running around, and the kids that we know are eventually going to get sucked into those gangs. So it was more of like, listen, we're a community, like, because that is something that was installed in us. Like we take care of each other. But if we're letting them being separated by a street and killing each other, then we're not really a community. And the one thing that with us we have is that we're a community. Like you don't see that like in Boston like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people can move into our hood and say that they live there and this is their community. But no, a community is like a group of people that know each other, function with each other. And that's what we are. Like we're the last, in my opinion, we're the last of that breed.
Yeah.
That really know each other from within a 2-mile radius. We're really connected by blood and by friendship that relates back to the island.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like, I can't sit here and it was one death that just changed my whole mindset, because I became so Americanized that I didn't care about anyone else. And it took one death to make me stop and think like, yo, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But those group of kids means everything to us.
Yeah.
The kids in our neighborhood, it means everything to me, man. Like, if I can't help my friends' kids survive and grow up, what do I really have?
Exactly. And I think that your message resonates even beyond the neighborhood, because right now in pop culture, we have already been consumed by the internet. And I think in a lot of ways we've grown closer as a society, and other ways we've grown apart. But for the communities of color that have been experiencing this racial awakening in the rest of America, I think that social media has been there for us this whole pandemic in a way. And we felt grief together in ways that we've never felt it. And so, and even before the pandemic, like really the internet and just the way that culture has been shifting with the passing of various rappers or people in the culture, or even losing people too, even though all respect to DMX, he did not die based on due to his addiction, but he was plagued by an addiction and other struggles. I feel like your organization is one of the only ones that are trying to be proactive. Not the only ones. There have been organizations out there, but I want to do my part in uplifting and highlighting that mission and that work. But do you guys have anything to add in these last minutes about how you've seen the culture in general, and males in culture in general react to crime and violence right now?
Like I said, like I think for me, what I was saying is it's been happening for so long that at some time it starts to feel like you're never gonna get over it, right? Because y'all shouldn't be dealing with this in y'all time, in y'all lifetime, you know. But it's like I don't know what's it gonna take to kind of like let us know as people of color, like if we're not gonna do something to help ourselves out, we can't expect other people to come and help us.
Yeah.
You know
and let me ask a follow-up question. Do you think that there's a moment right now for us to make that change? Do you see the opportunity that I think I see in the culture? Or do you think there's also a risk of us being lost? I also see that, like, stuck.
I know exactly. I know what you mean, and that's what, like, and it's kind of hard to explain because I don't want it to be like a down thing, right? Because we're at a very pinnacle point that we can take what's going on right now and unite and do things for ourselves. But I also see like how we're becoming dumber and dumber, you know. So it's like, what are we gonna do?
World Star? Have you been on World Star? Do you see these fights sometimes? It's like,
I don't watch none of those videos.
Good.
I don't watch.
How about you, Tony? Like, what do you see for the next generations in this moment in culture?
Well, like you said, there's a lot of good and bad. Some of the good things I think with this generation is I think they have more of a voice now for all these platforms. So it's like it's up to people like us to kind of like make sure they're using it in a good way, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta also, another thing is like now it's cool to be different. That's one thing I'm seeing a lot with this generation. A lot of these kids might use it in a different way, whatever. Like growing up, if you had your hair colored like people was gonna look at you in a different way. These kids are open to expressing themselves. Some good, some bad, with like everything else. But I think it's like it's hard. It's hard for me to actually like see exactly where it's going. But I can see it, like you said, I can see it going either way. I can see it, this generation taking that next step to make sure things go the right way. I can also see this generation getting even more lost. So it's like there's a lot, and it's like social media.
Yeah. But it makes your role so much more important in all of this as an organization, as a family, however you want to identify. Sorry, you skipped out a little bit at the end. Did you have anything to add before you wrap up?
Yeah, and I was just saying about like how the power of social media, like sometimes like all it takes now with problems starting these days is kids going on live and saying, hey, F this hood, F that hood. So now like, and then people are sharing it. There's more of these so-called tough guys that be on the internet, like egging things on, like comments wise. So I could see how the power of the internet now could bring things in a bad way, but also give them the platform for musicians to put out their own music, for people to do podcasts, like to actually speak on real topics and stuff like that. So it's like, it's tough because I can see it both ways. So it's still
But
hard
there
for me
is
to
that
get in.
opportunity. Yeah, definitely an
Yeah.
opportunity. No, that's what I meant by I needed to expand how I see you guys, because it's easy to see you guys as like a mentoring program for a group of young men, but you've done so much more. And actually, one of the things I wanted to talk about was an event that you guys had a couple summers ago that I was a little jealous that I didn't get to go to, but I think I was working. You collaborated with a couple of local residents and local leaders in the like on George Street for like a big festival. What was that about? And who were all involved? Because I know some unofficial or official volunteers, but I want to hear from you before I start putting in what I learned from the streets. How was that event? What was that about?
It was basically, we had done the block party on Jones Hill. It was very successful. A lot of people came out. Then one of our friends from Roxbury, Black T, wanted to do something over there. So he's the one that kind of brought it together. He reached out to Peter. Peter does the plans and entertainment where he rents out the party, he supplies, he got the moon bounce and everything. So he was able to provide that. Liz being from Roxbury was on board. And like everything else we do, also the guys from out there, from that neighborhood, like the guys that's there every day, they wanted to do something for the community. So they all pitched in. So
Yeah, I
there's a
think
lot of
one of
people
my
that
cousins, AJ, was like very involved. Like he
yeah,
wanted to be
AJ was one of
involved.
AJ was very involved. I'm saying like I don't. That's why I didn't want to say name because there's so many of them, and I don't want to leave anybody out.
Well, we can
But
say
there's
that
like,
one because that's why I was like, I know, because like they're my cousins. So like I saw them and I'm so proud because I'm like, I wish I was involved, but I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just find a way. I'm like, hey, cuz, let me know.
yeah, like
But
that's
because
what
I'm so proud. That was amazing.
yeah, that's what makes our event dope. It's like all the people that's from the community that's pitching in, that's helping. So
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we want to do this summer is the same thing. We want to go to all the other neighborhoods and be like, look, pick a day that you want to do something for your neighborhood, and we're gonna give you all the resources to it. Like because we think like when me and Z was doing the whole going to the different blocks, the reasoning was like look, just give one summer where the kids can come out and play and not have to worry. Like everyone could can rationalize with that, right? Like y'all still on this block. This kid's still here that is in danger. So let's just um do one summer where people don't have to worry, where the kids don't have to worry about coming outside. So we want to do the same thing with the block parties, like rotate them throughout the different neighborhoods. And then we want the people that they have issues with not to come through there on that day. Because eventually you're gonna have it on your day. And you don't want no one to go over there and violate it.
So we were carving out this space to respect each other's communities,
Yeah.
and keep the peace. And I love that idea. I definitely do.
And everyone would like, we're not gonna get anything from it. We're just like, you do it. You do it. We'll give you all the resources for it.
Yeah.
and just have a good time on that day for the summer. Because like the thing is like during the summer times, right? Um, Suburban kids can't wait to get out of school. They're gonna go on family trips. They're gonna go camping. They're gonna go do this. They're gonna go do that. And then the first thing in which I hate hearing is that we always say this is gonna be a hot summer. I've been hearing that shit since, excuse my language. I've been hearing that forever, you know, forever. So it's like while kids are supposed to, get ready to enjoy their summer, the adults and like talk about in the sense of fear,
Mm,
and it's real. It's real, right? But why can't the kids be excited for the summertime other than we don't have school? Why
exactly.
can't they have something good happening in the neighborhood?
Yeah. And that makes me think about how people see or value the summertime. And Tony made a good point about how the internet has allowed for more professional opportunities creatively for people to post their stuff online, just access in general. But what kind of professional? I think I saw a couple summers ago that you guys do support some of the young men as they start businesses. And I think you were talking about a tire company that you're working for right now. Tony, are you in the tire truck?
Yeah, we're at the Thai shop. This is Kelvin. He's trying to help. That's Lenny. He came to volunteer, and he's the one that got the shirt. Like, even him, like just yesterday, I needed a ride to go grab the shirts that we just printed to go drop somewhere off, and he's the one that was available. He came. He's like, I got to do this for the kids. He came to grab the shirts, drop it off over there at the seaport while he had other things to do. So like, it's people in the community like that that's always going to be our biggest supporter.
Nice. That's crazy. See, that's what I think is also valuable about you guys. It's the enrichment in activities, but also the professional, like really building these people up.
You have fun today?
I
He's
won't
the one,
put
he's,
you on the
he's the one
spot.
I was telling you about the Red Sox game.
Oh, that's the okay, yeah, with the
He-
baseball.
yeah, he's gonna be a baseball player. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
All right.
Good luck. I'll be there. Save a ticket for me.
Right. Don't forget about us.
Yeah, we want to encourage home ownership, business ownership, and those of
Mm,
us that do have our own business or do own homes, we want to be able to teach them how to do it, but we also want to bring in people from within our community that already like do it professionally,
yeah.
come in and teach classes. But we also want people in our community that does other things to come in and teach,
Yep.
teach about a trade, um, teach about financial literacy. We want to bring everyone from within the community because we have a lot of resources in the community,
Yeah.
and we want them to see someone that looks like them that they can relate to, um, and for them to have that not what's the word, like com- to be comfortable,
Mhm.
right? And then we want the people in the community to realize like, yo, you can come in and teach these kids,
Yeah.
um, and give back. So we want, and it's still within using the resources within our community because we're like with us, we know we have all the resources in our community. We don't have to look past the community. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's the only way like you're gonna be able to branch things back together. It's like I don't think that people saying the neighbor is too violent and I want to get as far away from y'all as possible. Because when you do that, you're gonna run into different issues outside of the neighborhood, you know. And then you're gonna have the what's happening now is gentrification, and you're gonna be broken apart. And it's
Right.
like with us,
How can we stand our ground while we still have it? That's
exactly,
definitely been a big theme of the
exactly,
work that I do as well.
exactly.
Yeah. And two big themes of my show are finding peace, and also finding your sense of purpose. And so in my past couple of interviews, I've tried to interview people from different walks of life. And my first episode, I tried to say that my podcast was about happiness, but I think that's incorrect. It's about peace because it's this balance and this process of figuring things out. And so I think that's the main reason why I've added you guys as a new element into that, finding peace and a sense of purpose. Would you guys agree that you found your sense of purpose in this organization?
I say I have, like, one thing about me, like, I remember when I used to work over there at Legoland, I was a manager there, right? So one of the things that I was in charge of is creating relationships with like hospitals so they could bring, kids that's going through a lot of, like cancer, try to bring them there, or like partnering up with schools. And what I realized, like, no one from our community was actually getting that opportunity. And, and just me being able to talk to my manager at that time and giving me the opportunity to bring kids from the community there for free, started opening up, and just seeing like their joy, like how happy they were. These little kids, they get to go to an attraction, get on rides, watch 4D movie, things that they never thought like existed out there. So that's where my motivation kind of started. And my whole purpose is like just just giving these kids opportunity, man. Like just creating opportunities and creating memories that they're going to stay on forever, and that they could also one day come back and give back to the next generation.
Yeah. And I feel like I even almost lost my train of thought because you were so well spoken. I'm going to get back to it, but how about you? Have you found your sense of purpose, Mario?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still not satisfied? You still felt like you have something to solve? I remember what you said earlier.
Yeah, like I said, I believe that that I'm here for a purpose, and that I've had to experience all this stuff, and I'm still here because so many are not here anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm still not content. You know what I mean? Because for me, like I'm very happy that these guys have taken MBK to this level, right? But for me, as long as our community's in shambles like this, it's not. I haven't found my purpose yet. I haven't found it yet.
It's this pursuit of peace and purpose.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. So I still feel like you're still trying to figure it out. Like for me, it still feels like I'm trying to still figure it out. And again, like I had a long conversation with Z, and me and Z, like our bond and the way that we fed each other while he was here, the energy was just like amazing. You know what I mean? And then for him to be taken away before we could fulfill something, it just feels like, what's next?
Yeah. And it sounds like he was a good man and he was giving back to his community. And so I hope to meet him one day, go to Cape Verdean and see him.
That comes back to how the system, like, it's just not meant. Like, I can't think of one system that's designed to actually benefit us. Like,
it's very black and white when you get into that immigration room or in the courtroom. It's just like, okay, on paper, what have you done? We don't care.
I could legit sit right here and say that if Z was still here, a lot of lives would have been saved. A lot of lives would have been saved. A lot of people would have still been alive. A lot of each situation that's going on in the community would have been solved the right way. So it's like they literally took a leader. Like, I like looking back at, that's one of our first leaders that we lost. Like, even though he's still here, we still talk and he's still able to help. But it's just a whole different when you're here, you're present. Like us going to each other's house like we used to, sitting in the basement or the backyard, coming up with plans. Like, it's not the same as phone calls and Zoom, like.
Right.
Yeah,
so
like,
it's not clear enough. Shout out to Z. This segment is for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you've done. And I have lost my train of thought before, but what I was going to say about peace and purpose is not only helping the youth, but by you guys existing and the work that you do, you empower and inspire other people that are older in the community that have purpose and that have skills to offer. And when I think about creating a community or this mentorship model, everyone benefits from that and finding the value in their work, because things are about to change. I mean, we saw that with the pandemic, how people lost jobs, how a lot of us have to have multiple jobs, how just the cost of living has gone up. And so you see a lot of people in our communities becoming entrepreneurs. And so how can we support them, show them the ways? And I think that you guys have the resources and the desire to do that, and you are doing it. So whether it's a pursuit of peace and purpose, or if you felt like you have found it, or just helping the youth understand what those meanings are, your value is not forgotten. Yes, for
Thanks.
sure. So do you guys have any well, actually, let me ask you, what's coming up for MBK? Anything, any events planned? What are your next goals?
We have a lot. Obviously, COVID might cancel a lot of things, so I don't want to put a lot of things out there, get people excited, and then we don't do it because of COVID. But we have a lot of things around like block parties. We're working with some of the professional teams. Like Mario said, we just want to give these kids opportunity to come out, like neighbors meet each other, kids building relationships, because there's kids that live in the same community that don't even know each other. So we're just trying to bring them out, get them together, have them like, just create a safe haven, even if it's for a day or two. Just create an area where they could just like be happy, express themselves. And this is Johnny, one of the founders with the tire shop. He's actually talking because we gotta go. But yeah, that's what I can say. Mario can finish it. Thank you for having us. Really appreciate you, and thank you for the support.
Yes, thank you. And I'll see you soon in person.
See you soon. Bye.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Also, we're working with different men in different states to duplicate this.
Yeah.
So if we can have them duplicated and we support them, and even here in Boston, if it doesn't even have to be MBK, but as long as the some of the older guys who've been through the BS can work together with other men and do the same thing within the neighborhood. But like if they want to create some type of change or some type of stability, it's gonna have to start somewhere. And one of the things that I keep telling the guys is like, we have some resources now. So if we can't keep it to ourselves, so we have it and we want to be able to help others start something. You know what I mean? Duplicate it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think that's kind of what I'm into these days, in terms of just organizing and the revolution that I swear that I'm leading. And I am in ways, but there's a hood everywhere is how I see it, in every city, in every country. And if you can start in your hood and help your community and network and collaborate and just grow a movement, that's how a movement is started. And that's, I think, how change is really made. And so you guys are doing that for our community for sure. So thank you.
We definitely want to pass the baton on. Like, can't be afraid of like passing something on to the next generation or letting the next generation lead, because you're gonna get you're gonna lose touch. And a lot of politicians end up doing is like they get into office and then they don't want to leave. And it's like, like you've been there forever. You got to teach the next person and help them, take over.
Yes, for sure. It's all about that mentorship and preparing the next generation.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Mario.
All right, Amber.
Once again, My Brother's Keeper 617. Their website is mbk617.org. And I will have all of their social media in the episode information and notes so you guys can follow everything that they're up to and keep up with MBK 617. Thank you. Good night, Mario.
Good night.
Bye.